This is Jeff with Shout Out Minnesota, and we are here with
John Michael Montgomery.
John. Fabulous show tonight.
Thank you.
Sold out audience. Wanted to get the take on your side as far as the vibe goes with tonight's performance.
Well, you know, you're always wondering about, especially since most of my hits were back in the 90s, people coming in who all knows the songs, you know. I mean, a lot of people you hope know the songs, but there's some people that probably go, so what did he sing, you know, and stuff like that. So it seemed like tonight all the fans knew, you know, pretty much all the songs that I sang, and that makes it nice because, you know, they enjoy it, I enjoy it, and you know, you don't have there's not crickets after you get done singing. So the crowd was very responsive on every song, which, you know, lets you know it's like, okay, they're fans, and it's but I'm sure there were hopefully some new fans out there that was like, oh yeah, I know that song, that he's the guy that sang that one. Hopefully I won over a few of those too.
Yeah, and different age ranges too. I mean, I've seen some young people and I've seen some old people, and they all had a good time, you know, which is great. It's a good diverse group.
It's been one of the things that I've noticed that, you know, that you know, I have a really wide range of young and older folks, and you know, it makes it very nice. And I think the songs that I sing, you know, I feel like they're songs that kind of stand the test of time. You know, they could be, even though they were cut 20 years ago, they're still as fun for the younger folks today as they were back then, and timeless kind of matters, or manner. And you know, I think I'm seeing a lot of that now because the kids that were this tall, that were sitting in the back seat and that were hearing my songs back in the 90s are now grown up and in their early 20s, and they're able to come out to places and be able to see the guy that they heard singing the song on the radio, all that. So it makes it really fun for me to be able to see the young folks and the old folks, older folks, I should say, all mixed together.
They grow up fast, don't they?
I got two teenagers, man, 18, 16. Yeah. Believe me, it goes by quick.
So I wanted also to touch base on basically how you got your start in the industry.
Well, you know, I grew up in a musical family. My mom played drums and sang. My dad was a lead guitar player and a singer. And my brother Eddie Montgomery, part of Montgomery Gentry, I mean, they drug us around. We moved like at least a dozen times, maybe 15 times growing up, from place to place. We kind of lived like gypsies because they loved picking and singing music every weekend. And they literally would not take a job if it meant they couldn't pick music on the weekend. And so my brother and I grew up in that atmosphere. And then we played, you know, we just right out of high school started playing, you know, bars and honky tonks and stuff around central Kentucky. And you know, my dream was actually, I mean, I was in my early 20s, was to eventually go down to Nashville. I love to write songs and maybe be a good demo singer and meet some people. And if not necessarily to be an artist, but maybe get into the more nuts and bolts part of it, where, you know, meet some producers and songwriters and people like that, and get into some studios and sing some demos and maybe work my way through that like that. But I was lucky enough back in the early 90s, Nashville started reaching out of Nashville and looking for talent. And you know, I had a executive come into Lexington, Kentucky, and I'd been playing a bar there for about 4 years straight. Walked in one night and you know, saw me singing, and I'd been playing bars for about 8 years out of high school before my overnight success happened, you know.
Okay. But
I was like 25 years old, and it was a dream come true. I still had my doubts even when I cut Life's a Dance. I was like, you know, this can't happen to an old boy like me. You know, I'm just a regular old country boy that likes to sing. You know, you got to be special to be a star, a country music star, or whatever. But it happened. from that time on, then my brother, a few years later, him and Troy Gentry started the Montgomery Gentry duo, and me and us all three played around Lexington for years, and we just very fortunate being able to have the background that we did, being on stage. Dad and Mom would get us on stage at a very young age, and get us in front of people, and I think it was just a natural for us to be able to do this for a living the rest of our life. Wouldn't a guarantee, but once we got the opportunity, me and my brother, we live about 30 minutes from each other, and we know how blessed we are. We know that being able to grow up in a musical family, and we're still singing, and and we ain't had to have a real job yet. We're very lucky.
Has it sunk in? I mean, just literally look back and say, wow, this is really actually happening? Or have you got to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor, let's just say?
Well, I mean, yeah, when you first start, after your first album comes out and everything, and you have a couple of hits and everything, and you realize that, wow, I've made it. My dream has come true. I've got a hit record. I've got a hit album. I'm not the local singer back home. I'm actually a national singer now, and then you start realizing it then, and of course you stay busy doing shows and doing interviews all the time. At that time and that point, you don't really get a lot of time to actually let it soak in, because when you're having hits and you're new and you're young, you're constantly busy all the time. And but after a few years goes by and you're able to kind of slow down a little bit, you're able to appreciate everything that happens to you. I mean, it's kind of a natural process. Yeah.
Now, a lot of your hits seem to be what I call matters of the heart. A lot of ballads. Do you find that ballads have more intensity, where you're getting your point across in a song, than a upbeat type of song, do you think?
Not really. I think it's, for me, I think it's just a matter of the cleverness of the words and the timelessness of how the song is written. And for me, I think ballads sometimes are able, because they're slower songs and they're able to tell the story and get a deeper storyline in there. Sometimes they're able to tug on the heartstrings a little more. But there's been up-tempo songs that's been able to do that also. But I think, no doubt about it, the ballads, because of the ability to actually put more words and story into a slower song, you have a chance to get more meat in there, with the words and everything. Right. And for me, like I said, there have been a lot of ballads. That I grew up listening to, that I think I learned my trade from, was Lionel Richie. I listened to a lot of Lionel Richie love songs growing up. His stuff is completely timeless, and I think I listened to a lot of country music growing up, but Lionel Richie was me. He was country, and his love songs they weren't country, pop, or R&B or anything. They were a universal love song. It could work anywhere. And so when I heard songs like I Swear and I Love the Way You Love Me and I Can Love You Like That, to me they were universal. They could work in country, pop, rock, right, R&B. And so when I heard those songs, I was drawn to them immediately, because I was like, I'm just thinking, Lionel Richie would probably cut that song, And so, I mean, I think I got a lot of that from him, and being able to sing some timeless ballads. I grew up with a lot of great music to listen to back when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. A lot of really good timeless music. So I think it really helped me out when it come to writing and picking songs for myself.
Okay. A couple more things. Any new projects on the horizon?
Yes, I got some things I'm looking at. Maybe doing another greatest hits, and maybe a few new songs, but nothing I can say it's in cement yet. So hopefully, if anything, I would definitely like to do at least one more project, before my career's, going out, riding into the sunset. So that's in the works, no doubt about it.
Okay. Social media wise, how can they get a hold of you? We're in an age now where social media is a big deal, and fans love the interaction.
One thing about me, I've always been a very tech guy. I still love tech, and I love the internet and everything. So, the Facebook, the Twitter, and all this stuff. JohnMichaelMontgomery.com. Well, you go there, or JohnMichael.com. You go there, it'll take you to all the social media places, connects you, link you right up to it, and I'm a big believer in it. I tell people all the time, they're like, well, has social media hurt music? I said, I don't know about the music part, but as far as an artist goes, if I was an artist back in the 70s and 80s, and a label decided to go, you know what, you're not selling enough albums anymore, we're not interested in you, we're dropping you. The only way that artist would have any way to let the fans know that he was still out doing his thing and touring is through they all had fan clubs. Mm-hmm. And now with social media, you literally can build your own entity, your own website, everything, and all your fans can follow you on it. So now you're not lost in the cracks. So, for me, I think it's absolutely great, especially for artists that are not on the major labels and they're not the latest greatest going on anymore. Right. So for me, I'm all over it.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up here. Give you one more opportunity to speak to the fans before you go.
Absolutely. Shout out Minnesota. I really appreciate your love for country music, and I'm looking forward to being able to come and sing you guys a bunch more songs in the future.
Thank you.